When the rest of Europe lay in darkness, Cordova glowed like a constellation on earth. Its streets were paved, its lamps burned through the night, and its people spoke the languages of the world. Travelers arriving from Christian lands stood in awe. They had never seen a city so clean, so alive, so full of knowledge. From the banks of Guadalquivir River, the call to prayer echoed through marble and arches, reminding every soul this was not just a kingdom, it was a civilization built on faith. A single man made this possible, al-Rahman. Escaping the Abbasid massacre, he crossed deserts and seas with nothing but hope. When he reached Al-Andalus, he didn't just claim power, he planted a new vision. He said, "Here we will rebuild what was lost. Here knowledge and mercy will rule," and slowly he turned this distant province into a beating heart of the Muslim world. His courage lit the spark that would burn for centuries. When Abdul Rahman laid the foundation of the Great Mosque, it wasn't only a place of worship, it was a statement of identity. With every arch, he declared, "We are still here." Scholars spread under its red and white arches. Artists drew inspiration from its geometry. Visitors describe it as a sea of columns that reflected infinity, a symbol that faith and art could coexist in harmony. By the 10th century, Cordoba had become a wonder of the world. More than 900 public baths, 70 libraries, and 600 mosques. With London and Paris had only muddied streets, the city was alive with scholars from Africa, Europe, and East. At night, its river reflected the lights of thousands of oil lamps, so bright that travelers said you can read a book at midnight in Cordoba. In El Andalus, learning was not limited to men. Lubna of Cordoba, once a slave, became one of the greatest scholars and mathematicians of her time. She copied and translated thousands of works, preserving knowledge that Europe had long forgotten. Her story proves that in the Golden Age, your birth didn't define your destiny, your intellect did. Physicians in Al-Andalus practiced surgery centuries before it appeared in Europe. They used anesthesia made from herbs, developed surgical tools, and wrote medical encyclopedias that would later guide European doctors, astronomers, mapped the stars, mathematics refined algebra, and chemists created perfumes and medicine still used today. Their motto was simple: to study creation is to know the creator. Perhaps the most beautiful miracle of Andalus was coexistence. Muslims, Christians, and Jews lived as neighbors, debating ideas instead of waging wars. In Cordoba's markets, you could hear Arabic, Latin, and Hebrew in the same conversation. They studied the same books, pursued the same dreams. It was not just tolerance, it was a collaboration. For a brief time, humanity proved it could rise above division. Every building, every verse, every melody in Arendelles reflected one truth: beauty is a form of worship. The curved arts, gardens with flowing water, the calligraphy etched with divine names, all reminded people of creator. Musicians invented new scales, poets wrote of love and divine unity, and artists painted not faces but faith itself. When Abdul Rahman came to power, he transformed Al-Andalus into a global empire. He built Madinat al-Zahra, a city of marble and gold, where ambassadors from Byzantine Empire and Christian kings came to marvel under his rule. Al-Andalus became the richest and most cultured land on earth. Even Europe's kings sent their sons to study in Cordoba, where Muslims taught them mathematics, philosophy, and governance. But time changed everything. Prosperity brought pride, rivalries grew among Muslim leaders, each claiming their city should rule. Cordoba, once united under one vision, began to fracture. The libraries still shone, but the hearts grew dark. As the years passed, the light of Andalus began to dim. The same scholars who once wrote books of wisdom now wrote letters of warning about division, pride, and forgotten faith. The mosques that once echoed with the voice of unity stood silent, and great libraries began to gather dust. Yet, even in decline, the spirit of Andalus refused to die. Its science, its arts, and its justice had already crossed seas into Africa, into Europe, into the very heart of the world. This was not just the fall of a kingdom, it was the end of an era and the birth of another. In the next chapter, we witness the heartbreak and courage, the The fall of Andalus when the last fortress stands and final adhan echoes through Granada's hills.